everyone, I'm Keely and this is Voice of a Creative, and today I'm here to talk to you all about Viscose Jersey. Now, Viscose Jersey is one of my favourite fabrics, if not my favourite fabric. I love cotton jersey and sewing with stretch fabrics in general. Actually, Viscose Jersey just has some properties which I really prefer over cotton jersey, and that's mainly to do with the drape of the fabric. Now, Viscose is kind of semi-natural fabric in terms of the way that it's made. So it comes from wood pulp and other plant matter that is then broken down and then kind of re-put back together, nice scientific terms, to form fibres. So although it is made from a natural material initially, actually the chemical processes and things that it goes through makes it a synthetic material because it's been made. It doesn't just come straight from the fibres. So it's a bit of a grey area for Viscose. Now, Viscose Jersey, in much the same way as cotton jersey, has either lycra or elastane in it to make it stretchy and make it have really good recovery. The composition that I prefer quite often is 92% viscose and 8% elastane, although you will find it to just have 5% elastane or lycra as well. Viscose Jersey does come in at quite a few different weights, and as yet I still haven't really found out a way to work out when you're buying online. If you can feel the fabric, you can feel the weight and quality of it, but buying online is quite difficult to tell. I'm starting to look more closely at the photographs and notice the texture of the actual fabric, because I've noticed some of the thinner Viscose jerseys have a slightly different texture, and I will show you that later. It's quite difficult to tell from photos, so it is a little bit of a risk, but actually even a thinner Viscose jersey will still work well for a lot of the patterns that I'm going to talk to you about. So starting with some of the makes that I've done with Viscose Jersey, I've got a variety of different patterns, including t-shirts, dresses and a cardigan as well. So it's quite a versatile fabric. I think some people might even use it for leggings and things because it is super stretchy, but I just haven't done that before. I know that I've got some ready to wear trousers that are out of Viscose Jersey, and I do plan to recreate those. So it's almost like you can make anything out of it. What I would say is it's a slightly finer fabric than cotton jersey. So when you're thinking about sewing with Viscose Jersey, it is thinner, so probably not as good kind of in the winter. It's a really lovely summer fabric. So starting off with what I'm wearing. Now, this is a hacked dress. I got this fabric gifted to me from Minerva, and this is a beautiful quality Viscose jersey, and it comes in multiple colours. Now, I will link this down below, hopefully if I can find it on their website. One of the other colours it comes in is the blue, and it also comes in a red, like pink colour as well. Absolutely beautiful to work with. It has really lovely structure to it, and love the pattern as well. And this, I would say, is one of the highest quality Viscose jerseys I've worked with. There are a few others as well, which I will show you, but this really beautiful quality. And if you're starting off sewing with Viscose jersey, I would go for a recommended higher quality one like this. And it's not overly expensive, so it would be worth going for something like this. So this one is the Elliott Tee and sweater from Helen's closet, but what I've done is extended it into a dress. So I've got 3/4 length sleeves, and then the neckband finishing off the neckline there, and then I'll just stand up and show you. So what I've done is extended it down, and I've slightly shaped it, so I brought it in slightly, and then I've added a belt loop actually into the side seams of the dress at my waist, and then I've got a tie. Now this tie can attach around my waist to just bring it in. Now I prefer things that come in at my waist, but you could wear it kind of without the tie if you wanted a kind of looser look. I just don't prefer this look on myself, much prefer it kind of being cinched in with the waist tie. And you can also wrap it round to the front if you wanted for this effect. And actually I really love this dress and always get loads of compliments when I wear it. Next up we've got this one. So this is my self-drafted jersey dress. So I've seen this quite a lot before. Now this one has got darts in the front and in the back, so just under the bust line for my self-drafted dress. And I am in the process of planning videos on how to make this, but it's quite complicated to kind of go through, so hopefully coming up fairly soon. I'm trying to kind of get on with it. And then for this, I've added a neckband. Now, with Viscose Jersey, you can fold it over if you want to, but you are at risk of it stretching. Now, Viscose Jersey is so much stretchier than cotton jersey. It's slightly less stable just because of the way that it's made. And so actually adding a neckband is a really good way to finish a neckline because it won't then stretch out. And actually all the dresses I've made with neckbands, they have not stretched out. Whereas the ones I've made where I've just folded it over, they have stretched out over time. So it's fine for like a year probably, but then after that it will stretch down, and it might not be a problem if you make it quite a high neck to begin with, and it will stretch down and down, change the look of the dress as you go. But it is important to remember that this is slightly more stretchy, so a neckband is a really lovely finish for it. Potentially you might try a jersey binding or something, but I would only suggest that if you've got a cover stitch machine. And I still don't have a cover stitch machine, so I prefer a neckband. Then on this dress, I've added just some pleats, which kind of disappear into the design, but a beautiful drape, always looks great with Viscose Jersey. And this dress works really well, but I will show you some dresses with patterns that you can work with. So next up is this one. Now this is the Westcliff dress by Friday Pattern Company. Beautiful pattern. What I really love about it is it's got this yoke detail. So from the shoulder seam here, it's got a yoke detail. You then gather the bodice in, and then it's got a partial wrap, and then you've just got the A-line skirt attached, and then the little sleeve. Now, I really like this. This is an example of a finer Viscose jersey. So just comparing the thickness, this is slightly thinner. Texture-wise, it doesn't really look any different, but it is a little bit finer. Still really good for this pattern, still would work for any other jersey dress pattern, but you would just need to consider that if you're doing like something that's slightly tighter fitting, you might see any lumps or bumps underneath, and that's something you may wish to consider. I know that when it's a finer Viscose jersey like this, I prefer to make a fuller skirt, slightly less tight fitting bodice, because I know otherwise you're going to see the line of where my underwear and tights are. But that's just a personal preference for that. But this is lovely and floaty. Again, you've got a neckband coming round for the wrap. But really love wearing this dress. Fantastic pattern to use for that. You will just want to make sure that you stabilise the shoulder seams with cotton tape or elastic. I actually didn't do it on this one, and I'm really regretting that. So just make sure you stabilise the shoulder seams. That's really, really important with Viscose Jersey. Next up, we've got this one. Now this is the Mayfair dress by Nina Lee. Beautiful pattern for Viscose Jersey, and actually it's got great drape, and it has a slightly different way of finishing the neckline, so you don't have to worry about neckbands. It's actually got a facing, but it's kind of like a shawl collar, so it attaches in the back of the collar here, and then it just drapes inwards. So I've just finished the edge with an overlock stitch, and then it just stitches together in the middle. So actually, really lovely way to finish it. You don't have to worry too much about it stretching out or anything, because it won't do that, because you've got the support in the top of the collar here. Another thing important to stabilise the shoulders, here I've used some black cotton tape to do that, and then I've stitched the rest of the detail. So really works well for beautiful drapey fabric. Now this is a slightly different strain of Viscose jersey. So this is a Viscose Crepe jersey. This is a Lady McRoy fabric, and I got this gifted from Minerva as well. I did forget to say, this fabric was from Louboutin Fabrics, and this is from Butterfly Fabrics, which I got when I went to Cardiff. Now this is the Crepe Viscose jersey. Now, one thing about this, and I don't prefer the Crepe Viscose jersey because it is a lot finer. So, and you often find that it can be a little see-through, but they do come in really beautiful designs. So if you just look more closely, you can see it's got a slightly dot texture on it, so slightly different than Viscous Jersey. So if I try and compare, if you look at the two next to each other, so a Viscous Jersey in this blue dress here has a kind of a line texture, more like cotton jersey, so the grain is got lines, whereas this crepe jersey has got more like a dotty knitted weave. Slightly different. And I would definitely say I prefer working with this kind of viscose jersey, but actually if you want slightly more drape, you want a more summery feel, then this is a good one to go for as well. And you can see even the texture on the inside is slightly different as well. Then lastly on the dresses, we have got the Kilo wrap dress, another lovely pattern for viscose jersey. Now this one actually isn't full viscose jersey, it's a polyester viscose jersey. Now I try to steer away from polyester fabrics on the whole, but I've had this in my stash for a long time. Now what you'll find with polyester viscose jerseys is they have a slightly, it's not slimy, that's not it, but it's kind of like, it almost feels like it's wet, or you're touching, like when you've touched leather, it's got a slightly smoother feel to it, whereas if you kind of touch this, it has a little bit more, I don't know, texture to it. So this is still really drapey. You've got the ties that come out at the side, and actually they've worked really well with this. So again, really fabulous dress to make with viscose jersey, and actually the drape works really well for when you wrap it round. You can also make it with other jerseys, but actually I feel like the drape works really well with this one. You also might consider making any other wrap dresses with viscose jersey. I think almost any jersey pattern will work well with viscose jersey, but those ones are ones that I've made and I know that they work well. What you just need to consider is viscose jersey stretches more. It's slightly more difficult to sew because of that extra stretch, but it makes it more drapey, which might be something that you're looking for compared to a cotton jersey. So on to t-shirts. I much prefer t-shirts made out of viscose jersey. They are a lot drapier, which I think is quite nice. They're really lovely for tucking into jeans, so I wear high-waisted jeans and often tuck t-shirts in, maybe just tuck it in at the front. And even like tucked into skirts, you've got less bulk. Obviously cotton jersey is a little bit more bulky. So this is my most favourite viscose jersey. So this is the Mayfair viscose jersey from Liberty. So the quality of this is beautiful, but it's really hard to get hold of. Now I know I got this from Guthrie Ghani, and they do have some in the star print that I also have. They don't have any of this print left, but beautiful. Now I made this t-shirt over a year ago and it has not worn. It looks exactly the same as the day that I made it. I've stabilised the shoulders inside and I've added a neckband on. And this is the Freya t-shirt by Tilly and the Buttons. Now I've hacked the neckline for this one, and if you look back on my videos to the Freya t-shirt video, which is part of the Jersey Top series, you'll see how I do that at the end of the video. So love this t-shirt, really beautiful, so glad to have it, and I feel really nice whenever I wear it. Then we've got this one. Now this I've just taken off of the clothes era, so it is still wet. This is the Elliott Tee from Helen's Closet. So it's a raglan sleeve tee, and this is in a beautiful quality viscose jersey. Now this is a plain viscose jersey that I got from Stoff and Still, and I would say out of a lot of the viscose jerseys I've had, the plain ones from Stoff and Still are by far the better quality that I've had. Now, recently I've had some patterned viscose jersey from Stoff and Still, which wasn't as great, but I know that the plain is still this same quality. Absolutely beautiful. Really lovely weight, so it will be a little bit easier to sew. It's got that drape, but also feels quite structured as well, so it's like quite good. With this one, I actually didn't finish the hem. I've double sewn it at the bottom of the side seams, and then I've just let it roll slightly, and actually I really love that. I think it looks really cool. So that's one way to finish a viscose jersey hem. I tend to, on most things with Viscose Jersey, is do a double fold hem, and I also do double fold on the sleeves as well. So if you notice on the sleeve here, hopefully it will focus. I'll hide my face. There we go. I folded it over and then over again, and I've done that exact same thing for the hem. I have done some where I've overlocked it and just put it up once. I always find the stitches ruffle just a little bit, but it's definitely worth trying out a few different things with your Viscose Jersey. Often I sew any hems and sleeves, so I just sew it on my sewing machine. I will use a ballpoint needle, and I will use a wider or longer stitch, so often normally like a 3.5 or a 4 stitch on my machine. It's just a normal straight stitch. So, and that's worked really well for me for years. Yes, occasionally I've had broken stitches when I've worn something, but only when I've like stretched out the dress to ridiculous proportions. So it's not something that just happens all the time. You're not going to get loads of broken stitches. And actually my new machine, my Janome Atelier 6, works really well with this. I've got the settings just right now, and so did my older machine as well, which was a Toyota Quiltmaster machine. I've also bought in a t-shirt in the Crepe Viscose Jersey. So again, this is a Lady McElroy print. So you can see it's slightly more see-through. You can see that texture on the inside as well, but a beautiful print, and actually it works really well for a t-shirt. I'm really pleased with this t-shirt and I love wearing it as well. And you can see I did the double fold hem on this one, and then I just top stitched along. And then lastly, we've got a cardigan. Now, I've only got one cardigan made from Viscose Jersey, but I do plan to make more, especially for the summer, and I think it would look really nice in a long kind of drapey pattern. Obviously, the thing to remember is it will stretch out over time. This one is the Blackwood cardigan by Helen's Closet, which I've hacked into a cropped version. Now this looks really nice with kind of evening dresses. I wore it on the evening with for the Socialite Soiree, which was a couple of years ago. And I've recently remade it so it's got overlocked edges rather than zigzag stitched edges. So I cropped the sleeve and I cropped the bodice as well. And it works, really works well. It's got a nice drape, so it looks more kind of glamorous and evening rather than like a cotton jersey or a knit cardigan potentially, but it's also fairly easy to sew, so this worked really well. And if you notice, I've got quite a few items in these kind of similar colours, and these are from Stoff and Steel, these Viscose jerseys. So a whole range of things that you can make. I'm just going to adjust the camera and show you some of my favourite Viscose jersey fabrics. So I've got about 2 boxes of Viscose Jersey. I have a whole box of plains, which I haven't put up on the side here, just because they're a mix between kind of bamboo, tencel, all different ones. I find it quite difficult to tell kind of bamboo Viscose Jersey and tencel Viscose Jersey apart. They're quite tricky. So for example, this is a bamboo one, which I got from Ray Stitch in London when I went. Really beautiful quality. And they've got quite a few of bamboo ones, and the texture of this is slightly softer than a Viscose jersey. I'm trying to compare the two. Maybe the grain on this is slightly smaller on the bamboo, but you know, that could just be different manufacturers. So really love, I've got some different plains like these ones, which are perfect for making kind of t-shirts to go with skirts and making cardigans. I have planned a t-shirt out of this one. Then in the box here, I've got a few different ones. So in terms of really high quality, I love this one. Now I used this to make a dress to wear to the dressmaker's ball, and this is, I think it's Pagoda Retreat, which is a Lady McElroy one, and I got this from Sherwood Fabrics. So this is kind of a middleweight, I would say, but really quite structured. It's fairly easy, so I would say this is a really high quality Viscose jersey. Then I have got some crepe ones left. So like this print, which I got from Satisfaction. So again, this one is slightly finer, so slightly more stretchy, and it has that different texture to it than you would get in a normal viscose jersey. I think my favourite in this box, which I showed you in my Show Us Your Fabric Stash video, is this one. Now, I've got a feeling that this is a tencel because it's got a lot softer feel to it, and this was from Pin and Sew, and I can't wait to turn this into a dress, so hopefully that's going to happen really soon. Then looking into the other box, I've got some that I've got more recently. Now, places where you might buy viscose jerseys, Stoff and Still has always been quite good to buy them from. I know Lamazi Fabrics has got lots in as well. Guthrie Ghani, again, I've bought quite a few viscose jerseys, as well as Sew Me Sunshine, Pin and Sew as well. I used to buy a few from Girl Charlie, but unfortunately the English branch of that shop is gone now, so I don't buy so much fabric from them. And I know Minerva Crafts have got a section on their website now for viscose jerseys, so they are out there. I really wish there was much more variety of viscose jerseys than there are. You often get a lot more cotton jerseys, but actually far less viscose jerseys. So that is what I want to urge fabric suppliers to do, is get more viscose jersey, because I absolutely love it. And you can get a good range of prints, but literally I'm snapping up nearly every piece I see. And I've also noticed that Material Girl Laura has had quite a few in recently as well. So definitely have a look around. Those people that I've mentioned I will put down below so you can go and take a look. So from my other box, ones that I really like the look of is this one, and I got this recently from Guthrie Ghani. So just love those colours and the kind of abstract design. And this is my most favourite, and this is from Guthrie Ghani as well. This is the Liberty star print, and they actually have this in this colour and the navy on their website still. I'll definitely snap it up. It is beautiful quality and beautiful drape. It's expensive, but it would be worth it. Maybe not for your first viscose jersey make, but definitely if you've been sewing with it for a while, because it's beautiful quality. So a whole range of different fabrics. I have got quite a few that I can't wait to get sewn into different things. I might even go along and make one each of those dress patterns that I showed you earlier in the video, because actually I think that that would be really cool to have another few dresses in my wardrobe. In terms of sewing tips, mostly the same as the cotton jersey, so you need to make sure you're using a stretch needle or a ballpoint needle. You need to check your thread, it needs to be polyester thread. It'd be good for you to use a smaller, so like a size 70 new needle with viscose jersey, because otherwise I have found that it kind of puckers a little bit. But it is a really lovely sew. You need to take your time to work with it. Just take extra notice on hems and things like that, because it is likely to pucker and wave a little bit more, which sometimes you can get out with a hot iron, but sometimes it's a little bit more tricky. I would say that viscose jersey stands up to the test of time a little bit better. So the makes you make with viscose jersey are going to last a little bit more than cotton jersey, I've found. I'm not really sure why, I haven't found why yet, but I would say that any kind of navy fabrics or darker fabrics will fade slightly over time, but that is just the nature of the elastane and things breaking down in the fabric. But my most favourite fabric to work with, I just wish that more manufacturers would make more viscose jersey, because it is slightly more difficult to get hold of than other jerseys. So I will just show you a kind of heavier weight viscose jersey compared to a lighter weight viscose jersey, so you can kind of see the difference. So this one is from Stoff and Still, and it's a lighter weight. It's partially see-through, you can see me through it there. Okay, so as I'm feeling it, it feels thinner, it feels less heavy, it's just as stretchy, but actually you can see that if you did stretch it over yourself, it would become more see-through. Whereas if you look at, let's not look at the Liberty per se, but kind of this one here that I've got. So this feels heavier, so it's got more texture to it, more kind of substance. If I hang them up together, so you can see when I open it out like this, whereas this one's you can't see through at all. And then in terms of texture close up, you see the difference. I don't know that I can see a difference on the camera screen, but it might be helpful either way. Definitely this is beautiful quality. This I will make something out of, but I know that it's not going to last as long as something made from a higher quality Viscose jersey. So that is all about Viscose jersey. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I know I've enjoyed making this type of video and showing makes and fabrics and things like that. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please press the thumbs up and subscribe if you want to hear more from me. Goodbye.